Hi there, this is Kevin, and this is me, Jessica. Together we're the Healing Hands duo, and this is our story. My mother in law requested that we write a brief overview of what we've been up to for the past 10 years or so. Wait a minute, rewind, let me explain. This past summer, she had this grand idea to start a new family tradition where we would all get together in hopes of bringing together what so many of us take for granted: family. How many of us can honestly say that we spend enough time with the people on this planet that matter the most? I mean, I have family that lives down the road and I haven't seen some of them in nearly 15 years. It's sad, really. Anyway, the concept was to have this casual gathering in a provincial park followed by a write-up of what we've all been up to. And since my husband, and yes, I'm going to call Kevin my husband because after living with someone for nearly 10 years and having been through what we've been through, I think we've both earned those titles. Anyhow, let's get back to it. Since my husband hasn't seen some of his relatives for a very long time, I felt that an extended write-up at this point was definitely in order. And let me tell you, this task felt a lot more daunting than what I would have expected. Because we could write about how we met, where we've been, what we've been doing, or where we now live, but would that really give you a clear view of what we've been through, or who we really are now? Maybe, but maybe not. However, for the sake of completing the task at hand, I'm gonna give it a shot. So here it goes, and here are some quick clips of when everything seemed, well, perfect. We first met at an engineering company almost 12 years ago. He was one of the engineers, and I was the productions planner for the motor controls manufacturing division. We always fancied one another, but it took him almost a year to ask me out, and we've pretty much been inseparable ever since. Kevin eventually left the company after 2 years to pursue another opportunity as a manufacturing engineering supervisor, and that's where he is today. As for myself, I stayed with the company for another 2 years until I began to feel overworked, underappreciated, and sick. I'm sure some of you can relate to this story. At this point, it's necessary to mention that I had been feeling some awkward pains off and on for months, but trying to be as tough as I like to pretend that I am, I kept shrugging it off. I swear to you, I am so stubborn. But then suddenly, the world came crashing down all around me. I woke up one morning in tears to excruciating pain that had me curled up in the fetal position. I couldn't walk because I could barely stand from the agonizing stomach pain. I asked Kevin to take me to the doctor, and we must have been there for maybe 10 minutes before he recommended an immediate colonoscopy, and little did we know that within a few days our lives would change forever. Later that week, I was diagnosed with pan-Crohn's colitis, which is an autoimmune disease that attacks the large bowel. Learning how to cope with the pain, pills, and depression of being chronically ill put me into a rut for over a year. At that point, I picked myself up as hard as it was and became not only desperate but motivated to regain my health. I quit my current job and took a job with a large nutraceutical company as a customer service and quality control assistant. It was there that I would spend the next 8 years of my life researching natural modalities to control my disease and using my findings to transform my illness. The road to recovery was bumpy and anything but easy. But I believed in my heart that my great sense of intuition would steer me in the right direction. I delved into every piece of literature I could get my hands on at work. I had long conversations with some of my clients whom were either medical doctors, naturopaths, nutritionists, or other alternative practitioners. I read books, journals, alternative health magazines. I literally became a human sponge trying to absorb as much information as possible pertaining to human health. I spent countless hours in hospitals, saw what felt like 1,000 specialists, not to mention I spent every penny I made on privatized healthcare, natural health treatments, supplements, equipment, IV therapies, organic products, and the list just goes on and on. We had just started to get a new foothold on our new lives, and generally I was feeling pretty good at this point, when suddenly we were hit with a second tragedy, which would go without a diagnosis for nearly 6 years. Kevin woke up blind. We had no idea what was happening. It was by far the second scariest moment of my life. He was rushed to the emergency room where they performed a CT scan of his brain to determine whether or not he was experiencing a spontaneous brain bleed. The CT came back clean, thank God. And as he regained the vision in his right eye and about 40% in his left, the doctors could not tell us what had just happened. They couldn't tell us what had damaged 60% of his optic nerve, or even if this degenerative disease would continue to progress, leaving him permanently blind forever. His vision continued to come and go for well over a year, but the doctors eventually decided to wash their hands of us and send us on our way. They eventually chalked it up to being pre-multiple sclerosis because he was also having some nerve issues at the time with his legs, but his brain scans came back clear every time, so at this point we felt as though they were just grasping at straws. We continued to teach ourselves. We broadened our research as we soon realized that there was a lot more to health than regular exercise and a well-balanced diet. As Kevin's list of extensive symptoms began to grow, which included blindness with optic nerve damage, skin lesions followed by a burning flesh sensation, neurological disturbances within his legs, heart palpitations with sudden fainting, loss of memory, speech and brain fog, lymph swelling, nasal and eye pressure, and I'm pretty sure I've probably missed a few others. We not only felt fear for what was happening to him, but more so frustrated that the medical system that we had been led to believe that we could rely on had failed us so miserably time and time again. In the end, conventional medicine had us diagnosed with the following, and I swear to you, this is going to sound ridiculous: Crohn's, colitis, sinusitis, scoliosis with cervical and thoracic spinal herniations, liver hemangiomas, benign tumors, casein, lactose, and gluten sensitivities, chronic candida, parasitic infections, blood abnormalities, elevated protein C levels, optic nerve damage, glaucoma, cavitations, deadly dentistry, which led to a punctured nasal cavity, cyst, and deadly infections followed by several surgeries, multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, inguinal hernias, night sweats, edema, psoriasis, eczema, malabsorption, and Lyme's disease. So as you can see, life hasn't always been a walk in the park. And although some would crumble and fall under the pressure of such horrible circumstances, we didn't. And I know this is going to sound like a cliche, but these experiences have only made us stronger. We eventually decided to take full responsibility for our lives, despite what we were being told by our doctors. And for the first time, we started to see some real improvements in our health. We would like to take you through our journey, not of who we were, but of who we are now. We would like to tell you what did and didn't work for us, share the knowledge, research, and information that cost us thousands of dollars in hopes of helping anyone. We'll tell you what we think about nutrition, energy, and spirit, and how you can biohack your life in hopes of regaining optimal health. We only want to help you because so many people didn't know how to help us. If there was anything to learn from this life thus far, we have learned the following: be kind, loving, and passionate every day. Take care of your body and it'll take care of you. Spend the time with those that you love and be sure to show them how much you appreciate them all the time. When you think life is hard, think about those that have it worse. When you fall, get back up. Sing and dance like nobody is watching. Learn how to quiet your mind so that you can listen to your soul. Dress up, be silly. Never let your inner child fade away. Fear is only a fragment of your imagination. Don't let it hold you back from what you truly believe in. Stop blaming the world for all your problems. You manifested your reality, therefore you are the only one that can change it. The human body is miraculous and can heal all wounds if only given the chance. And always remember this: we are not the labels that people put upon us. We are not our bodies, our egos, our jobs, our belief systems, or even our social connections. We are simply a set of experiences for our soul in which our primary purpose is to learn and grow. We are all interconnected, and therefore we are only here to enrich your experience on this planet, as you are here to do the same for us. As we set positive intentions and grow our consciousness together, we have the power to create beautiful experiences that you and I could have only ever dreamed of. Life is what you make of it. And we would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.